What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Leave It to the Judges MMA show. Welcome to our UFC 292 recap. We're going to start at the bottom of the card, go all the way up to the main event. Plenty to talk about, guys. It was overall, I think this was a great card.
No, I think that this card delivered top to bottom. Uh, I feel like most of who the UFC wanted to win won
Facts.
for better or for worse, but we're gonna get into that like with the Black Shears shit.
They have agendas for sure.
Hey man, and they push them every time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Couple robberies maybe potentially on this card. I don't know.
Yeah,
Uh,
a little bit.
Before we move to the prelims, anything on the early prelims you guys really want to discuss?
Katrine Silva looked really good.
She did.
Not too much to say about it, but she went hard in her fight.
Yeah, I'd say both the Silvas look pretty good.
Facts. Facts. We can definitely talk about this Petrovsky Mearshart shit because like
Talk about this a little. It's almost ruined the bets.
oh my god, this almost fucking busted all the parlays, you guys. Like, not gonna lie, but I'm
Like
not gonna lie,
Alex,
I was disappointed. I was disappointed in Petrovsky. Like after a good 2 minutes of swinging for the fences early, he gassed out and made this a really sloppy, you barely edged out a decision type of a fight. Honestly.
yeah, he did not look amazing. In round three, he got really tired. He was taken down like very easily. I was getting really concerned. And the first round was really close. So like,
Yeah, I didn't know how I was gonna go with the scorecards. I thought we did barely enough, and I think the knockdowns kind of what saved them in the scorecards for sure. And probably
oh,
one
definitely,
off that.
yeah.
I mean, not
But
much.
anyways,
Yeah, not much to say. They're both slow as hell though. Somehow
I'm not gonna
Petrovsky
lie.
was slower. I don't know why he was slower than Gerald. That made no sense to me. Like even from the first like winging punch he was throwing, I don't know why he was putting everything into it. Definitely should have been more calm in the beginning, and he probably wouldn't have gassed out.
He probably would have got a finish if he would have just connected on the chin a little bit instead of like trying to knock him out with one punch every time.
Yeah.
all right, let's move on to the tough fights, the Ultimate Fighter fights. First of all, did you guys both watch every episode? Did you guys keep up with the show weekly?
I did not keep up with it weekly. I fell off around like week 4 or so.
Dude, it just got so boring, man.
Yeah.
It's so boring.
I mean, I didn't watch the show. I clicked on the episode just to watch the fight. I could have cared less about the show.
I'll be honest. I watched pretty much every episode, and Tough is a shell of itself. They should honestly cancel the show. They should honestly cancel it.
Yeah. I mean, you get these good fights out of it though from the coaches, and you sometimes get some nice back and forth. You
Yeah,
gotta find the right two. I feel like I never thought Chandler was gonna jab with Connor at all. So like, oh, that was a bad voice cry, but we moved.
anyways, but the fight, great fight. This is, I think. Oh yeah, it is. It was fight of the night. Cody looked really good early on, then Brad kind of took over. It was back and forth. What are you guys' thoughts on the fight? Katona is also a tough winner, so congratulations to him.
My thoughts. Congratulations to both men. I think that they're both getting a contract which they deserve. Um, Cody Gibson's what, a history teacher? Like, yeah, you need that UFC money, man. You need that fight 50K bonus, like all of that. That's some like life-changing money for that guy probably.
For
So
sure.
shout out. Even in defeat, he deserves a contract for sure. I think Katona pretty clearly, ran away with the fight at the end, but up until like the end, like it could have went either way. Gibson definitely came on really strong, was really being a size bully in there. Which, hey, if you've got advantages, use them. Fuck it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it was a complete war. I mean, they were going back and forth the whole time. I'd say Cody definitely pressure wise was really cornering Katona well and getting his jab off very nice. They were both kind of, stunning each other a lot at times, but no one really slowed down, I would say, or there was like one time I
So
think Cody
feel
got
like
really
I feel
stunned.
like I feel
Cody
like
towards the end slowed down a little.
he definitely slowed down and like allowed Katona to start rocking his ass.
Oh
Honestly.
yeah, I meant just stun wise,
Oh, I
just
got you.
how hard. Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's what kind of won Katona the fight. The cardio, I would say for sure. Cody definitely brought it on hard early, but couldn't keep up the same pace the rest of the fight. So congrats on both though. They got fight of the night, very deserved, I think. Looking at the rest of the fights, it was the best of the night. And good luck to both. They'll probably, I mean, Brad is getting a contract, and Cody will probably get one, but not
I
sure.
think Dana said that they're both going to get contracts, so that's good.
Okay, good, good. Yeah, both deserve it. So good shit.
All right, let's
How?
move on to the next
Wait,
tough
wait,
fight.
wait,
Oh,
wait,
sorry.
real quick. How long do you think that they like stick in the UFC though? Like, you think that there's going to be another quick out for him or what?
I think Brad
How old are
probably
they?
Brad. Yeah, I think Cody's kind of old
Brad's
now.
32.
Oh, okay. But I don't know how Cody is. I have no idea.
That doesn't say. But
I would think he's older though.
it's just hard comparing like these guys to the top of the bantamweight division. Like I'm not trying to be bogus. I would love to see them kind of climb, but that's a hard question to answer, Alex.
Yeah, it is. I would
Oh,
say Katona probably could stick around a while. I would say Gibson. I mean, I like the way he fights. I think he could probably get a few wins off, but at the same time, I think he'll probably lose to really good fighters. They're the
I
best in the
agree.
world. So
bantamweight is stacked right now.
yeah, and they're just in a tough division as well to mount anything.
Let's go to the second tough fight, the lightweight
Hmm.
tough finale. Kurt Hollowball has won the tough season. He beat Austin Hubbard by second round triangle, I believe. He looked really impressive, man. I think Hubbard's gas tank failed him. He was getting beat up on the feet a little. And congratulations to Kurt.
Yeah. Austin looked good early. He got his takedowns, which like I expected. He was able to do a good amount of damage down there. Nothing like too significant, but he was definitely like scoring. Looked good, but shout out to Kurt because he didn't let Hubbard hold him down for more than like 2 minutes at a time. Always got back to his feet, and that's draining, man. When you're like a grappler trying to work so hard to secure top position, and someone keeps fucking squirming back up to their feet, it gets exhausting. And we saw like him fatigue, and you know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think Hubbard did the right things at first. I think he really did need to go for takedowns because I did feel like Kerr was probably a little better on the feet. So I think he did what he needed to do, and the game plan was right. He just didn't, execute it as well as I think he could have. And I think, also I agree with Ed. He did kind of gas out a little bit in the second round, I would say.
Yeah.
Uh, you couldn't keep up with Kurt's pressure. I think that's what won the fight for Kurt. But that transition was crazy when he had him in the armbar and then
Into
Hubbard
the triangle. That was so nice.
into the triangle. That was so like awesome. Like that was such a good finish.
That was a UFC caliber finish right there.
Yeah.
Kurt is 36. Like, congratulations to him, but he's gonna have to really like get some fights in here if he wants to make this like worthwhile, I guess.
I think Kurt could win a few, but I think he's one of these guys who he's there
He's
for
not contender level.
yeah, he's there for a good time, not a long time in my opinion.
Put him on some main cards. Shout out Kurt. Shout out to the tough. Pretty
Yeah.
mid season, but it's all over now.
Hey, hey, they went 1-1, Technically Katona was on Connor's team, so they drew, man.
Yeah, but Connor lost like every fight on the show.
They did, but Katona was technically on his team at the end. He switched
Like,
squads, so we'll take that.
Katona was annoying.
but
He
what's
was
Go.
up?
annoying. I said Katona was annoying the fuck out of Chandler like on the show.
Yeah. No, they didn't like him. There was like beef between him and Gibson going in, or at least Gibson didn't like him.
Yeah, facts.
All right, let's move on to this next fight. We got RoboCop versus Dennis. Who knows how to say his last name?
I think it's like Tululian.
Tululian, or something
Yeah,
like that.
something like, I think it's like Tululian.
But this fight went about as expected, bro. RoboCop, we know he's been tearing through the division. He's been looking really scary. I think this was just another showcase fight. What are you guys' thoughts on the fight overall?
I mean, it didn't take long for him to mount and elbow him to death. The one thing I will say is like a little controversy with the elbows behind the head.
Yeah.
I was a little concerned about that, just because like it looked like he was like, I mean, it may have been a little off to the side, but it was too close. Like you can't be doing that shit, you know. So I was a little afraid of like a little DQ loss or some shit, but hey, the refs let it go. The commentators were in a frenzy, but like the refs said, "Fuck it," like it was legal. So
Yeah, they were in but like I think they were overreacting. Like, let's be real, guys. The fight was over. Like, it was over, man.
whether he elbowed him or punched him more times, like it was over with. He was not getting
Submitted
out.
him. He could have done whatever he wanted up there, bro. RoboCop's scary, man.
Right.
Hey man, once again, DC and Rogan were just over exaggerating everything. Like I couldn't handle it most of the time. They were just saying they were like talking about whoever was losing the fight. I swear they would always be talking about him like, oh, he's doing so well. I'm like, no, bro. No.
Dude.
I
Give
mean,
me
I think that like, especially if someone's like a severe underdog, they have to like play. They know it. They know what like we all expect to happen, right? So when someone's doing well against the odds, they have to highlight that. Kind of like the Volk Islam thing. Like the whole fight was about, oh, look how good Volk's doing, but then it's like he's still losing these rounds, though. You know what I mean?
that is a great
That
point.
fight was
Bro.
close.
That's a
That
great
fight was
point.
close.
No,
That
it was,
fight
bro. But like
close.
they dick ride underdogs way too hard, bro.
Well, yeah, no,
I get it. He's like, but it's a fight, man. Like, it's a fight. You're acting
Yeah.
like it's a miracle this guy's winning. It's annoying.
yeah, I just wanted to point that out real quick. They were just annoying me the whole time with that. But anyways, here, not much to say. I got the takedown. Looked like he was gonna get a choke for a second, but found the elbows. It was kind of back to the head. I agree, but I feel like, to be honest, a lot of fighters hit to the back of the head.
Give me
All the
Robo.
fucking time.
Yeah,
What's
all
up?
the time.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, I feel like the last two elbows were kind of to the
To the
side.
side a little.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that those were, but yeah, not much to say. As expected, G-Rod looked good.
Give me Rodriguez versus Curtis. What's his name? Chris Curtis. Next.
That'd be
That's a
interesting.
good fight.
Very good fight.
The action man always game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's move up. The feel good. Well, was supposed to be the feel good story of the night. Weidman versus Tavares. It was a pretty entertaining fight, actually. It was much more back and forth than I thought it would be, but I think the right man won. What do you guys think about the fight?
I know who didn't fucking feel good. Whiteman's legs. Okay.
I was cringing every time he got kicked there.
Yeah, I was definitely worried. I mean, thoughts. Like, I guess Wyman really seemed to like be overly cautious about the injured leg, which let him leave his left leg out there to get chewed to shit round one, which made him have to put the other damaged leg forward, which like, made that leg also get chewed to shit. So I mean, it all worked out like it made sense how the fight played out. I was more surprised with Chris Weidman's toughness, if anything, like to battle through that shit. Like that fight looked like it might have gotten stopped off leg kicks like several times. And he was still pressed forward, attempt takedowns, get in good on his takedowns. I thought that Weidman's wrestling looked pretty good. Tavares is just a beast to take down, but like
hard to take down.
I feel like Weidman was getting to the positions he needed to secure takedowns on most people. So Weidman didn't look cooked to me fully, but like I don't need to see him in there anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I agree. Sadly,
Yeah, this is what I'll say. it was boring at first, and it definitely got interesting as the fight went along.
Mhm.
But I mean, the story of the fight was pretty clear. The leg kicks, it just added up. He was checking well with the bad leg, which I was surprised by.
And he had some good flurries of boxing. Like he had a
He
couple.
did, yeah. No, he definitely got his own. Like this fight is exactly like the Magny Gary fight, which we're gonna get into soon. But the only difference is like Weidman, I feel like was more in the fight than Magny was.
Definitely.
Yeah,
'Cause, like,
yeah, for
I'm
sure.
not gonna lie, he hit him with some shots, man.
Yeah,
And he hit him with some shots. Like, let's be real.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
Like, he
honestly,
was
wait one sec. Based on how the fight went though with his legs, I think he does unfortunately have to retire.
he's also just old, bro. Like,
Yeah, he is old. He's like 39, right? Something like that.
but yeah, he has to retire, and Tavares is not far behind, to be honest, bro.
Yeah, I mean he's kind of young, I think, or I mean, I don't think
I'm not
he's
sure.
that old.
To be fair though, he has a pretty like hard resume of fighters. Like he's fought a lot of really good fighters. Tavares.
Yeah. Honestly, though, I would say the only thing is I kind of wish Brad went for the finish more. Um, I think he had Weinman pretty hurt like several times with the leg kicks, and I feel like he could have just added on to that or been more aggressive with the punching. That's just my opinion. I think
Yeah,
he
I
could have been
agree.
aggressive.
He showed him a lot of respect, I felt like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. All
But
right.
hey, Whiteman was still stinging that shit, man. I saw like some wide eye looks on Tavares' face when he would get punched. I'm like, oh shit, like maybe Whiteman on no legs, no wheels could fucking pull this thing out, retire with a feel good story, but it was not meant to be.
Yeah.
I feel like he does one more fight. That's what I feel like he does.
Maybe Dana White did say he wants him to retire
That's true.
at the post fight. It's unfortunate.
All right, let's move on to the main card. This was a banger fight, really back and forth. I thought it was really enjoyable. I think the right man won. It was very close. Cheeto looked probably the most like active we've seen in a while. Like from the bell, he was on. He was throwing nasty strikes at Pedro because Pedro. I feel like if Cheeto, the old Cheeto, fought Pedro, he would have lost, man. Because Pedro was also just right away just throwing a bunch of shit. But the difference was Cheeto was throwing stuff back. So
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie, like watching it live, I was like, even though Cheeto was throwing early, like I didn't know if it was enough. Because Pedro was chewing that leg up. Just it felt like Pedro landed like 2, 3 shots for every one that Cheeto landed. But I mean, Cheeto's shots were obviously like stinging him in the nose, uh, like doing more damage. Like you could see the damage on Pedro a lot more so. So
mhm.
I mean, damage wins fights apparently these days. So I mean, I think we're seeing them be pretty consistent with trying to implement that.
Who did you think won?
I
I
thought
mean, I thought Cheeto won, but like I just thought that it was pretty close. Like looking at these strike numbers, I just don't feel like this is what I saw, to be honest with you. I
Mm,
thought that Pedro probably outlanded him, but like I guess not. Like
thought that too.
maybe I guess Cheeto did enough work late, but like didn't you guys think that like watching live that Pedro hit him more times with more strikes? I thought he did.
Up until the third round, I was thinking that. I think Cheeto pulled away with the third round pretty convincingly.
Definitely. Wait. Look at the round. Look at the round by round strikes real quick.
So, pretty much dead even round one.
second round was okay. I got
Yeah,
talk.
third round.
Wait,
I
I
don't
gotta
think
talk
that's
about that second
what I
round.
saw.
Well, what did you see in the second round? Because I thought that's where Cheeto. I thought he lost the first and then won the last two.
I agree.
Yeah, okay. But in the second round, at the end of the round, it showed the strike numbers and it had Pedro landing 20 more strikes.
Those
I
are
was
just
Yeah,
unofficial.
no chance. They're so fake. Like I've never like that was crazy to me. I was like, there's no chance Pedro just outlanded him by 20 strikes.
I always wonder, like, who's watching this significant strike counter, like, live? Like, who's doing these numbers? Just some
I
dude,
don't
like, a
know.
clicker?
I mean, yeah. It
But I
probably
always wonder, like, what are they deeming a significant strike? Because sometimes, like, some leg slappers be getting significant strikes, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't know about that.
is true.
But apparently, actually, we'll get into the who's next for them later for Cheeto, obviously. But what do you think's next for Pedro? I think he looked great. Like, I
Yeah,
think Pedro super slept. I've been sleeping on Pedro.
I don't know who I'd pair him with.
Look at the division.
Him versus Jan. Great fight.
Simone. I
Him
don't
versus
think. Maybe Rob Font.
Rob Font. That's the best I could do for him.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
We'll talk about more about Cheeto later. Let's move on to the next fight.
Hmm.
Blackshear. What's up?
No. I was just reacting to this fight because
Yeah, I know. He's just
I
feeling
think my
defended.
man won. Hey, I'm just gonna come out and say it. I had Blackshear winning. This was my only little stop in the betting, which was a good betting night, y'all. We had a good night.
It
But this
was.
was really one of the only roadblocks, and I did it because I kind of went with the hype of Blackshear and the fact he got a twister last weekend. I was kind of riding that energy. I felt like,
He won too, to be honest, though.
huh?
I think he won too.
Yeah, it was close. I'd have to probably go watch the second round back because I think that's what it comes down to. I'd say the first round, Blackshear won just through the takedowns alone. Batista, I think, obviously won the third through
Yeah.
back control and strikes. But the second round was very close. I just saw Blackshear kind of outlanded him a little more in the second. I could be wrong. I'd have to go back and watch, but both fought well. I
Mm-hmm.
will say. I will say Bautista also like it adjusted way better than Blackshear did throughout the fight. But Blackshear also, I think, got tired. You know, second week in a row, he has to, go through a
Did
weight
a lot of
cut.
wrestling and
Yeah,
all that.
I don't know when he even got the call. It was probably on like 4 or 3 days notice or something. Or like when did Garbrandt pull out? Like Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, something like that.
It was early in the week, so I mean, good on Blackshear. I thought he looked good for a fighter on that short a notice who just fought. So
I
good
think
on.
both the stocks rose.
Yeah, they're both good fighters. I like Bautista a lot. I like the way he fights. I just thought the wrestling of Blackshear was probably gonna get it done. It just didn't, but it's
Should have
all
feel
good.
For me personally, I thought that Batista won rounds 2 and 3. Blackshear started off round 2 like pretty strong. I feel like there was a moment, maybe around 2 minutes of the first round, where Blackshear went deep for a takedown and kind of got it stuffed, and he kind of like held on to like he had his head down and he was kind of holding on, and Batista had a sprawl. He was sprawling well and kind of laying on his neck for like a good 30 seconds or so. And from that moment on, I felt like that sapped a lot of the energy out of Blackshear not completing that takedown, and Batista was able to like find his way with the striking, and then eventually like I feel like they would clinch a lot, and on the breaks, Batista made sure he filled the space with like an elbow or just doing the little extra, like a little extra, like
Mhm.
off the breaks every time to like get the round, honestly. And I don't know why the Batista corner was calling for wrestling when he was like pretty, in my mind, clearly out striking Blackshear.
Yeah.
At least with like damaging shots, at least because I see these numbers, but at least with shots that I felt were like the more damaging strikes.
Mhm.
And his corner kept like imploring him to wrestle more, and I'm just like, dude, like every time you go for the clinch, that's when you get like spun to the cage, and like not to say he was getting like losing the positions bad, it would just be like a clinch, like reversal fest against the cage, which I'm
Yeah.
like, you're doing fine, and he may be getting tired, but like you were having so much more success with the striking, so questionable cornering in my mind, but like he still pulled it out in my mind. Shout out to Blackshear stepping up though, saving the fight.
All right, let's move on to the feature fight of the card. Ian Gary versus Neil Magny. Truly a sickening fight to watch, personally. I'm just kidding. I don't hate Ian Gary. He's just annoying to me. He's an amazing fighter. I just think he's really cringe. He destroyed Neil Magny here. What are you guys' thoughts on the fight?
Let's just start off with the press conference and shit. Like, definitely cringe as fuck. I just don't like the moral high ground angle he was trying to take on
Oh,
disciplining your kids. You're like, you never hit a kid. Like, I was like, you know, like it's not like you're not. It's not like you're even trying to sell the fight at this point. Like, the fight's like tomorrow, bro. Like, come on, bro. Like, shut up. You know.
Yeah, and he's like bullying Neil Magny, who's like the sweet, nicest dude ever. I feel like.
I mean, he was just trying to be on his counter shit. Like, I think that much was apparent. It just didn't come across great. So yeah, maybe lay off that a little bit, Gary. Do a little bit more of what comes natural to you. But like, as far as in the cage, fantastic performance. We were talking about it a little bit before we started filming, but uh, something might have been wrong with Magny's leg. It seemed maybe his leg is just old. Let's just be real. Like it's taken a lot of abuse over the years, but going down off the first leg kick was a little suspicious to me, and like it just seemed like he was getting thumped with those leg kicks, and he was not taking them well at all.
Yeah, Neil Magny has the most wins in welterweight history. I'm pretty sure he has like 20 something wins. He's been fighting in the UFC forever.
man, that's so bad, Ed.
What?
Bad. The fact he holds that record. I mean, Magny's a good fighter, but
He's a journeyman.
yes, he's a big journeyman.
But he's had a
Um,
hell of a journey. He's like upper echelon journeyman. He's just like old now.
yeah,
Yeah.
I not even on like my hating Ian Gary shit before this fight. I think Jeff Neal would have beat Ian Gary. Like I was picking him to beat Ian Gary personally.
I
I
don't
was a
know.
little worried about like the hands, but I still would favor Gary in that, honestly.
Yeah.
I feel like his striking is a little more diverse than Neil's.
I just feel like that Rachmanov fight gave me a lot of faith in Jeff Neal.
He's
I
getting
mean,
beat
he
up
held
the
his own for
whole time,
sure.
man.
He held his own for sure.
I mean, I guess he held his own. He was
Dude, it was a
getting beat up the
war,
whole
bro.
time, y'all. He was getting beat up the whole time.
It was a war, bro. Am I
Did you see the numbers?
misremembering?
Ragmana was no, I'm remembering the fight. It was a good fight. But like Ragmanov was like doubling his landing strikes like against Neil like every round.
Clark, you always gotta glaze your boys, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
I do, but hey, I mean, well deserved. I mean, he's about to get this title and walk off.
Oh, bro,
But
I'm curious.
wait. But the fight with Gary and Neil, or yeah, Magny,
another Neil.
yeah. I would say I was kind of the same thing I was saying earlier about Tavares. Like, I'm kind of disappointed he didn't like go for it more. I feel like he like Neil actually looked way more hurt off those leg kicks than Weidman did, I would say. And so
Oh
I
yeah,
feel like
I think
Ian,
so too.
yeah, I feel like Ian could have gotten him out of there with like honestly two more kicks and just go with the boxing at that point. So
I'm not gonna lie though,
that's
he definitely was trying to kick those legs. Like Magny was doing a good job, not even a good job, but he was like, he kept switching stances like a little bit, like every second really, because he couldn't fight out of I think southpaw, but he couldn't like stand orthodox anymore and let that leg get chewed up anymore. So I mean, I don't think that like Ian could have done more to like kick the legs, but I do think that while he couldn't move, he could have punched him and probably got him out of there
Yeah,
against.
like respect the Jeff Neal, like or Neil Magny. Like you said, he might have been injured. He is old, but man, he was abysmal this fight. He zero threatening factors at all. It was so hard to watch, man.
yeah, I feel like once those kicks kind of came in and slowed him down, he just wasn't gonna do much. I think the rest of the fight. I mean, definitely tough as fuck like Weidman, but you know, didn't have much offense, I will say that.
And I think it's pretty simple for Ian Gary. The next fight should be Jeff Neal. I don't see why that fight wouldn't happen. I think Jeff Neal is still a great test for him, just like he was for Rachmanov. Um, but hey, man, shout out to Ian Gary. He did his thing.
Yeah, it
He
is.
definitely did his thing. He did what he was supposed to do. Beat a legend, made it look easy. So
Yeah.
you
Good
knew
for-
Magny was next on the climb to greatness.
Let's move on to our co-main event, the strawweight title bout. Amanda Lemos versus the Queen, Weili Zhang, bro.
What more can be said, man? That's my girl, Whaley, man. She's a fucking animal in there. Never
Oh.
had a doubt, never a doubt in my mind, to be honest with you. Lemos hit her with a couple hard shots, but it was always one because then she was on her back getting beat in the face. So you know what I mean? Hey,
Lemos looked decent on the feet, bro. But
she did look good on the feet, but I feel like it was single strikes. Like she would get like one crack off, not a combination. And before she could land another shot, like Whaley would take her ass down. Like every time she stung Whaley, Whaley was like, "All right, fuck this striking shit. Let me just."
look at those stats.
Yeah,
She's an absolute animal. Like she
I
was
was
putting
gonna
up,
say,
she was putting up a calendar year on Lamos's face. It was crazy.
yeah, I was gonna say like the striking numbers say it all of how this fight went. Complete domination. I don't know how a judge even gave a round to Lemos. Somehow it happened. I don't know how, but
6
somehow.
of 7 takedowns is crazy. Like in a title fight, come on.
Yeah, I mean, it was just apparent that Whaley was way better in that area, which I figured, and I figured she probably had to do this to win. Because I mean,
I don't think she had to, but I think that like
yeah,
it's the path of least resistance.
It was
yeah. I
yeah.
don't think she needed to, but I feel like if it did stay on the feet
Yeah,
like, way more than it actually did,
yeah,
I think it would have been a closer fight
100%.
for sure. And like, yeah, I mean, Lamos's face kind of looked like Chris Moutinho from that Sean O'Malley fight for a sec.
Oh my god.
It's kind of red, right?
Jesus.
It was red, right?
It
Yeah.
wasn't that bad though. I'm not gonna say
Well,
it.
not that bad, not that bad, but it was red, right? Lemos. I thought it was red, no?
A
I
little.
mean, she's a little more tan, I feel like, so it hides it a little better. But she definitely got pieced up for sure down there.
Yeah,
Um
yeah, but Whaley's a beast. Not much else to say.
I know most people, including me, like I'm guilty of it too. I feel like all three of us are. We kind of like bitch about the state of women's MMA, but like the top of strawweight is pretty like it's pretty nice, man. The top six, I'd say. Like there's some good fighters there.
Who does she fight next, y'all?
Jan, and it has to be Jan.
Yeah, Yayanan for sure.
I'm
And
not
In
gonna
China,
lie.
in
Yeah,
China, I would ideally.
I'm
Yeah.
more interested in the Tatiana Suarez fight though.
he needs one more win, bro. She has to fight Carlos Barza.
She'll beat her, honestly. That's like the
Most
worst
likely.
matchup for Esparza, in my opinion. Like actually the worst matchup. Cause
But
like
yeah,
she can wrestle like so well.
Who
and I think
Suarez?
Yeah, Suarez, like she just kinda has the equalizer for her. And on the feet, I mean, no offense. I don't think Carla Suarez is that decent on the feet. She's okay, but
She's good enough to get to her wrestling. You know what I mean? Which works for her, but I don't know. Yeah, I think that Suarez might be a little bit too much for you know, our former champ.
yeah.
shout out to Wei Lee though, man. So fun to
Whaley,
watch.
a fucking animal. I'm taking her every fucking time. I'll live and die with Whaley, man.
She's
Fucking.
so lovable, so wholesome.
She's trying to learn English. Like she's starting to learn English a little bit. Like it's beautiful, man.
She's sick, and she's a badass fighter.
Hey, what if well, does Rose beat her?
No. I mean, on her best day, but again, what rose are we gonna get? That's the question.
I feel like I mean she's going up to flyweight now, so I don't know if she's coming back.
If they
But
fought, then I would pick Wei Lee.
Every time.
I'd
All
have
right.
to think about it. I'd probably pick Whaley too, but like, ooh, Rose beat her twice. It's just
Yeah, twice. I mean,
she did beat her twice.
I thought wasn't the second one really controversial, the decision?
No, I mean like I remember the fight. I feel Whaley could have won, but I mean I wasn't mad at the decision they went with.
Wasn't Rose able to like get a lot of top control and like controller late?
Like late in the fight, yeah,
Yeah.
around 4 and 5. Like that's kind of what won her the fight,
Yeah, I
basically.
gotta remember that.
All
All right.
right. I've been waiting for this day for a minute. Wait,
Aljo hater, walk us through it, Clark. What happened?
I'm not a. For much as I shit on Aljo, I respect him for being a champion. I will say that. But I mean, more. I was waiting for Sean O'Malley winning because I'm a big Sean fan, and I just want this man to have the title for a while. Maybe if Sanhagen beat him, I'd be fine with that probably. Like those,
you'd want that, Clark. Fuck you.
no,
You'd take
I
Sanhagen.
mean, I wouldn't care if Sean beat him. They're kind of equal for me. Like I could trade them off.
But who
Well, I
would
feel
you
that.
Huh?
who would you bet on though with your money?
I don't know. That's kind of a weird one.
I would
It's
odds.
like Sanhagen, like
Clark
like
full of shit. Clark full of shit. Clark drunkenly told me yesterday he's taking
no,
Sanhagen every time.
no. Wait. I only said that because as I was thinking of the matchup, like stylistically, striking wise, they're pretty equal in my opinion. I would say Sean probably has more power, probably slightly faster.
I think Corey
I
has
feel
better.
like technique wise, I feel like it's pretty equal. And they could both do a lot on the feet. But just from what I've seen in the last few fights, in Sanhagen's takedown ability, like continuing to rise, I think he could like do some good work. Now, I mean, this fight, Aljo, I mean, he shot for one takedown, right? I mean, it says two, but I only remember the one early in the second round, like right before the finish. But
I was very surprised Aljo didn't wrestle more, but apparently he said in the post-fight interviews that Sean was just moving really well, doing a really good job keeping his back off the cage, and that really like disrupted his wrestling flow.
yeah, I mean
Because
that.
he's not Piotr Jan. He's not Piotr Jan who's just gonna stand there and cover up and shell up and allow you to get to his hips. You know what I mean? Like Sean's more like movement based, and we saw it was giving him some problems. I do think that like had the fight going on long enough, and Sean started to slow down a little bit, he would have got to more clinch situations and probably had a little more success. But we didn't need that shit because Sugar Show put his lights out. Hello.
Beautiful.
Hey,
That shit was art. It was damn near the same like Aldo punch, like a slip back cross. Like, oh my gosh.
it was the opposite way. Yeah,
It
absolutely.
was nice, but like I don't like people comparing it, bro, because that Aldo punch was just different. It was different. It
Well,
was just
yeah, it was like a face plant. I mean, it was a little different.
and
He
it was
put
like
him out.
like a master striker. So I thought that was way more impressive. But still.
Yeah, I mean, look, was it an early stoppage though?
It was, but fuck it.
I think that like I don't think that it was gonna get much better is the point. Like
No, see,
I
that's
will say to take a belt from somebody that way is a little greasy. I feel like if you're the champion, you gotta let me go out on my shield and let them take this bitch from me. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But with that being said, I do think that like I did see Aljo like out of it a few times, and when he rolled over to his face and his face was like flat, sure it was like for a second, but that was not a good visual to be taking more shots like that. So I do see why the fight was stopped.
no,
So,
like, yeah. Go ahead.
oh no. I was gonna transition to something. You can keep it.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah. One last thing. I mean, it kind of his knockdown. Aljo's reminded me of like when Derek Lewis kind of got knocked down against what's his face, Pavlovich. It was like a very face down first, and that was an early
Like a
stoppage.
flash, sure, a flash
Like it's
knockdown.
really bad, but it's not as bad as it looks. Like it's hard to
Oh,
describe.
yeah. The difference wasn't that was like the ref stopped it immediately. And in this fight, at least I would say Mark Goddard gave him a chance to survive.
Definitely
I will
did.
say once Sean started like landing the ground and pound, I did see Aljo kind of
Go out for a
think
second.
away a little bit. And I
Like I
think
feel like off the first
it
punch,
wasn't getting better.
he was there. He was still there mentally.
Yeah.
But he was trying to move around, and Sean was punching his ass with
Yeah,
like I would say like 60% accuracy, like on the ground strike. So I was like, damn, he's not just like jumping on him and just going chaotic. He's like really like picking these shots like a sniper and like dribbling his head. I'm like, damn, okay, like Sean really getting these angles and like really making these shots count. And you don't always see that. Like a lot of people rush the finish and then they end up just in top mount or maybe in someone's guard, and then the person recovers. Shout out Charles Oliveira, you know what I mean? But this time that was not the case. Like Sean was punching his ass, and I think that he would have kept hitting him until he went out for real, like more so. So I would say a little bit early stoppage, but like I'm okay with it. And even Aljo seemed okay with it. He
Yeah,
knew.
no, I feel the same way. No, I mean Marav's the one that tweeted out after about it. Like
Marav is such a
never have Mark Goddard ref your fight. Like I was like, okay, man, like you're his teammate, we get it. You have to say that. Like and he's now not gonna get a title shot because he would just wanted to wait. Dana's not gonna reward him at all.
Not
You
at
think
all.
you think Aljo's gonna move up now, or do you think he stays after he's salty?
I think that he does. If he does move up, it's not going to be for a Volk fight. It's going to be for like maybe Ortega fight or like
Freud at featherweight, bro. Like who's he beating at featherweight? Who?
I don't see it. No one in the top 5. I don't believe.
Yeah, no one. Let me see the rankings. I mean, no one in the top 5. I know that for sure. Like I'll go down the list here. Where are we at? Oh, Holloway. Not beating him. Not beating Yair. Well, better chance against Yair, I would say, but
He's what by Yair?
winning.
I feel like Yair is his best chance because I've seen Yair controlled hella.
Yeah, but he's
and you have to think about it. Like Ojo has one of those position over submission styles. Like
yeah,
he's more of a blanket kind of guy. Like he'll get on you and just like wrap you up and like try to hold you there. Honestly,
I would say Ortega's too aware.
Ortega gonna sub his ass.
Yeah,
and probably knock him out.
Yeah,
Taporia would beat him. I would say as well. I'd say Arnold Allen honestly would beat him stylistically. I think it's a bad matchup for Aljo. They're just bigger. I think that's the issue. Like Aljo's kind of in that weird weight area where like he's between bantamweight and featherweight, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's a little too
size.
For O'Malley though, it just seems that Cheeto's next. I just feel like all this speculating, is it Marab, Corey? I think it's Cheeto. I think it's gonna happen. I really like that fight because Aljo clearly was scared of Sean's stand-up game. Cheeto is not. He's gonna stand there, trade, bang, trade kicks, trade punches. I think it's gonna be a sick fight. I guess I'm leaning Sean, but like I don't know. I think honestly either of them could win that fight. What do you think?
See,
I see O'Malley convincingly beating Cheeto, and then
I don't see it. I don't know why, dude.
I think he has something to prove. I think he has something to prove. I think that the first fight, like while it did happen, it went down how it went down, and the leg kick, like definitely, he threw that leg kick and it landed right. It did something right to turn off Sean's like ankle and all of that. But that is kind of fluky. I would say, like, it wasn't like he was battering his legs with leg kicks. You know what I mean? It was like one good one that really, like, hit a nerve, I guess. So I could totally see how Sean has full confidence he was going to win that fight. Watching live, I believed that Sean was going to win that fight. And yeah, I just don't think that like Cheeto throws enough to make Sean tired. I see Sean like only losing a fight when he gets gassed, like against like a Marab type. You know what I mean? Even like Aljo on like a better night could probably gas him out and diminish his striking, but I don't see Cheeto throwing enough to like gas him out hella. I feel like it'll be an entertaining striking battle where he wins like at least 3 of the rounds.
That's interesting. I don't know.
Maybe Cheeto comes on late. Maybe Cheeto comes on late and like wins like the last 2, but like maybe he doesn't even. I don't even know.
I'll be honest, I'm predicting knockout in that fight for Sean. And this is why. I mean, I feel like Cheeto has this terrible urge to not throw in a 5-round fight in the first 2 rounds.
But dude, sorry
to take him ever in a 5-rounder.
But I think that Cheeto's gone, bro. I think, like, dude, against Sean, he's not going to be timid at all, dude. Like, he's not going to give up rounds. He knows now, like, He knows.
I
Does
guess
he know? Because I'm not gonna
I
lie, he damn near gave up the first round to Muniz.
yeah, he
No,
did.
he didn't give it
Last
up.
night, Ed, he was kind of slow last night. Like, even
What?
though he was getting stuff off in the first more than I've seen, I will give him that. But it was still slow. Like, it was still slow. Like, I felt like Munoz was like landing well, but it was like it wasn't really hurting
Exactly.
like
It wasn't
Cheeto at all.
damaging
And I felt
him.
like Cheeto could have just gone forward and done his thing. Like, I feel like he has to be more confident in himself. Like, honestly, and I don't think he is.
I've also like never seen Cheeto like seriously rocked like very bad. So like I just don't understand why he doesn't have a little more faith in his chin. Like I believe in his chin. And I feel like if he was a little more willing to like get hit early, it might just wake him up and get him into fight mode faster. You know what I mean? Um, I feel like he tries to be too defensively sound early, and I mean, you know, make his reads, which I can't blame a guy for fighting. Like if I was fighting, I want to get some reads too. Like you know what I mean? I don't want to get beat in front of all these people. But with that being said, you do give away rounds like that, and like I was watching and I was concerned, like I was really concerned about like, you know, how is this gonna get scored? Because like Munoz was like leg kicking him, like he was just scoring. It wasn't that damaging, but he was scoring, and like you have to account for that.
I just don't think like scoring at all is going to matter in their fight. Like Clark said, I expect someone to get a TKO or KO, and I think Cheeto has the ability to knock Sean out. I'm not picking him. I'm just saying.
I think the issue is though that fight was so long ago for me. Like that was like 2020, right? Or it was years ago.
It was pandemic time, I think, for sure.
It was years ago. So I feel like Sean's just way better now to where his movement and Cheeto's kind of like the way he moves, he plants his feet. Like he's not going to be bouncing. So I feel like it's going to be way harder for him to track down Sean, especially since his movement's just way better now. And I feel like every advantage that Sean had in the first fight is still there, in my opinion. If Cheeto wants to win, I mean, I think the way to beat Sean is going through calf kicks. Like
I mean,
that's how you slow the movement down. That's how you slow
Well,
it down.
I think
I would
Cheeto.
say,
Oh no, go ahead, X.
no, I was just gonna say that like after the war that O'Malley had with Yan, I feel like that leveled him up. You know what I mean? That leveled him up because like Yan was doing good work on him, and he was doing equally good work on Yan. So I feel like that just like mentally brought him to another level, physically brought him to another level, and I feel like Cheeto, I haven't seen him grow. Like Cheeto's Cheeto, you know what I mean? Like he's gonna do what he does. He's gonna start slow. He's gonna make his reads. He's gonna build through the fight, and against lesser people, he will get a finish probably. If he doesn't, he might lose a decision. Like I feel like I know what Cheeto is, and I feel like O'Malley is still developing like more so. Not to say Cheeto has like gotten stagnant, but it's more stagnant for sure.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I just think Cheeto poses a different threat to Sean than we've seen from anybody. I know Jan's a great striker, but I think Cheeto's a more dangerous striker. He has knees, kicks. I think crisper punches. He's taller. I think it's a hard matchup.
I'll be honest, Ed, I would tend to disagree with that in terms of like Peter Yan. Like
You said you would disagree?
Strider.
He's
wait,
what?
Clark, you're saying you do disagree?
Yeah, yeah,
I
a
disagree
little
as
bit.
well.
I mean, not fully, but like I get what you're saying. He's definitely bigger. He doesn't like do the little cover up like better defensively, I would say. But like
Would you favor Ed?
in-
Would you favor Jan? Would you favor Cheeto over Jan if they were to fight? I wouldn't.
It's tough, but I'd probably favor Jan, I guess.
I
yeah,
guess it's crazy.
That's a thing. He could wrestle Cheeto. Sean can't wrestle Cheeto.
no, that's true, Ed. I just feel like
And bro, Sean's chin has never been tested. Cheeto's gonna test that chin. It's not gonna be like round one
What do you
versus
mean it's never been tested? Jan was testing that bitch. What do you
Yeah,
mean?
he's a different type of striker, I feel like. Jan and Sean's just so much taller than him.
Yeah, but I mean, well, Cheeto ain't that tall. Cheeto's like what, 5'7", 5'8", like not that much taller than Jan.
I don't know, Ed. I think you might be underestimating Jan here. Cause I mean, I feel like it's recency bias. Like, how long was he so dominant? Think about it.
No,
Like
it definitely is. His last couple fights,
Tito has never reached those heights, bro. He's never reached those Jan heights.
I
He's
think
not
you.
the guy. He's not
Also,
there yet.
wait. I'm not gonna lie, Ed. So you went from him saying Cheeto was gonna beat Sandhagen,
Yes,
which we
I thought
told you was a bad idea, and then he might lose to Munoz tomorrow because that's what you said. You were worried about that fight.
I thought Munoz was gonna win. I picked
Okay,
Munoz.
okay. And then now he's gonna beat Sean.
I'm
What
not
are
saying
we doing here? What are we doing here?
no, but I'm just saying it's a great fight. Like he's dangerous. He's a big threat.
No, I get it. And like, but I feel like Sean also really wants to win that fight specifically because it's his only loss. So I feel
And
like he's going to be motivated to get it back.
I get what you're saying about Jan. Jan's a great striker. He is. He's an amazing boxer. He's dangerous. But like Sean's never fought a striker like Cheeto. Like strictly a striker. It's gonna be only stand up. I just think it's gonna
Yeah.
be.
I mean, I get what you mean. I get what you mean.
I just think that personally, with no crazy leg kick fluky shit, just allowing Sean to purely strike, I feel like he will overtake him. He will overtake Cheeto, you know what I mean? If anything, Cheeto should be trying to grapple some, man. Fuck.
Good.
Probably.
But I mean, like Cheeto's not the level of like offensive wrestler that like Jan or Aljo is. So like
I don't
I
think.
feel like
Yeah.
I feel like Sean's like leveled up. You know what I mean? He's leveled up.
I don't.
I just think that we need to see that fight. I think that Sean thinks that that's the easiest fight for him right now. I would agree so.
I think
I
that's
would say it is. Out of the three options, he's the easiest.
Yeah.
Because
So
Morocco a nightmare, and like we were talking about, Sandhagen is just kind of like a bag of tricks. We don't know what we're gonna get from him.
Sandhagen's hurt though. He's got surgery
So
for that arm.
but yeah, I don't think that O'Malley wants to fight Morab. Not to say that like he won't fight him eventually, but Sean wants to make as much money as he can. And like, first of all, the story will probably sell better
Oh yeah.
because you know his one loss, they have history, they have beef. It's gonna sell. People are gonna watch it. He's the champ now. He's gonna get in on those pay-per-view points. Probably, especially in his mind, easier matchup for him. Like I feel like Sean's on that train. You know what I mean? Not to say he won't fight Morab. I fully think he will, but like keep working his grappling some more. You know what I mean? Like get that cardio better, get a little more 5-round experience, maybe with Cheeto. I don't know. I see that as the vision. You know what I mean?
also, for the record, Tank Davis absolutely sleeps O'Malley in a boxing ring. Let's just get that out of the way right now. And Garcia.
How much does he weigh?
Who?
Tank Davis.
130 something.
Oh, okay. I thought they were heavier a little.
I thought he's like 137, maybe.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Thank you guys so much for sitting through this long video with us. It was a great night of fights. The Sugar Show, may his reign be great. It was a great night of fights. We had a great time. We're going to have some more content coming out on TikTok and YouTube. Thank you so much for the support, and we love you.
Love you too. Peace.
Peace out, y'all.